Welcome to a truly singular examination of the defensive line of the New England Patriots. A unit frequently lauded as the unsung heroes, or perhaps more accurately, the perpetually bruised heroes who prefer to communicate through grunts and collision rather than eloquent post-game analysis. They are the foundation, the relentless, often anonymous force that dictates the rhythm of a game, largely out of the spotlight. Their impact is profound. Their stories, one might assume, are legion. If only we had access to specific examples, of course. But we shall persevere, focusing on the sheer idea of their existence. Now, for any truly incisive discussion of a football unit, one generally expects, indeed, demands specific names, pivotal plays, perhaps a statistical anomaly or two. Unfortunately, our current deep dive eschews such tangible trivialities. We're operating in the realm of the conceptual, the theoretical Patriots' defensive line. It's an interesting challenge, attempting to dissect the vital organs of a football team when the organs themselves remain delightfully, and entirely, generic. But fret not, the spirit of New England's formidable defensive front can still be appreciated, if only in the abstract. It's about the feeling, isn't it? At its heart, the defensive line exists to make life demonstrably unpleasant for the opposing offense. Their prime directive: disrupt. Disrupt timing, disrupt lanes, disrupt quarterback composure. They are the unwelcome committee at the line of scrimmage, politely, or rather, aggressively, asking the offense to reconsider their entire life's trajectory. This isn't merely about sacks. Bless their hearts. It's about the subtle pressure, the shifted pocket, the fraction of a second gained for the linebackers and secondary to do their more celebrated work. It's truly a selfless endeavor, often observed by few, but appreciated by the discerning few who understand what's really happening. While specific defensive schemes evolve with the wind, Bill Belichick's overarching philosophy regarding defensive personnel has remained remarkably consistent, at least in its essence star. It's a focus on adaptability, positional versatility, and an almost religious devotion to doing one's job, whatever that job might be on any given Sunday. The defensive line under this regime isn't necessarily about cultivating individual superstars, though they've certainly had their share, conceptually speaking. It's about a collective, interchangeable cog in a grander, often perplexing, defensive machine. It's a bit like a highly organized, very large, blunt instrument. The hallmark of a New England Patriots defense, across various eras and hypothetical rosters, has often been a bend, don't break mentality. This isn't to say they don't enjoy breaking things, they absolutely do. But the defensive line's primary role in this philosophy is to absorb the initial, reset the line of scrimmage, and prevent the truly catastrophic play. They aim to force longer drives, mistakes, and ultimately, punts or field goals, rather than allowing easy touchdowns. It's a slow, grinding approach, designed to wear down opponents mentally and physically, much like a particularly dull tax audit. But effective, nonetheless. To be a defensive lineman for the New England Patriots, or indeed, any NFL team, is to willingly submit to a weekly physical gauntlet. It's a role for individuals who genuinely enjoy pushing other large humans around, repeatedly, for several hours. The cumulative toll on the body is immense, a testament to masochism or perhaps just an intense love for the sport. Every snap is a miniature car crash, a collision of titanic forces. These are not individuals prone to complaining about a stubbed toe. They are, conceptually, the gladiators of the modern arena, albeit with significantly better medical staff and more lucrative endorsement deals, one presumes. Beyond the sheer physicality, the defensive line engages in a relentless mental chess match. They must read offensive lineman stances, anticipate blocking schemes, and identify run or pass tendencies within fractions of a second. It's a cerebral battle waged amidst chaos, requiring an almost preternatural understanding of the game. A lineman might be asked as two-gap, single-gap, stunt, or twist, sometimes all within the same series of downs. It's an intricate dance of power and precision, demanding intelligence as much as brute strength. Perhaps more so, given the difficulty of executing brain surgery while being simultaneously driven backwards by 3 large men. The interior defensive linemen, the defensive tackles and nose tackles, are the true anchors. Their job is often less about spectacular individual statistics and more about creating opportunities for others. They occupy blockers, collapse the pocket from the inside, and relentlessly stop the run game at its source. It's the grunt work, the unglamorous but utterly essential toil that allows edge rushers to roam freely and linebackers to fill gaps. Without a dominant interior presence, the entire defensive structure, no matter how well conceived, tends to resemble a rather flimsy house of cards. A very large, heavily padded, flimsy house of cards. Then there are the edge rushers, the defensive ends, the outside linebackers who moonlight as linemen. These are the players often tasked with creating the highlight reel sacks, bending around the tackle to get to the quarterback. Their speed, quickness, and technique are paramount. While the interior sets the table, the edge rushers often deliver the main course, a quarterback-shaped main course, usually. They're the flashy ones, the potential game wreckers, the defensive equivalent of that one friend who always insists on telling a story with excessive flair. Necessary, yes, but often a bit much for everyone else. A truly effective defensive line, especially one operating within the conceptual framework of the New England Patriots, must excel at stopping the run. This isn't just about making tackles at the line of scrimmage, though that's certainly part of it. It's about flowing to the ball, shedding blocks, and maintaining gap integrity. The goal is to force the offense into predictable passing situations, thereby allowing the defense to unleash its more specialized pass rushing schemes. It's the gritty, unglamorous work that forms the bedrock of defensive success. Much like doing your laundry, utterly essential, rarely celebrated. Conversely, a sophisticated pass rush is critical for generating turnovers and preventing offensive rhythm. The Patriots' theoretical defensive line has often excelled here, using a combination of raw power, deceptive stunts, and perfectly timed blitzes. It's a calculated assault, designed to collapse the pocket and make the quarterback's job as unenviable as possible. Sometimes it's a 4-man rush, sometimes a complex package involving multiple blitzers. The beauty, or perhaps the terrifying genius, lies in its unpredictability. Like a very aggressive, well-coordinated, surprise party, except instead of cake, you get a sack. The defensive line position itself has undergone a fascinating evolution over the decades. From the colossal, immovable nose tackles of yesteryear to today's more athletic, versatile hybrids who can rush the passer, play the run, and even drop into coverage on occasion. The Patriots, in their abstract wisdom, have always valued these chameleon-like defenders. Gone are the days of specialists. Now, if you can't do a little bit of everything, you might find yourself watching from the conceptual sidelines. It's a demanding era, requiring not just strength, but an ever-expanding repertoire of skills. Essentially, they're the Swiss Army knife of gridiron disruption. A recurring theme, particularly when discussing the New England Patriots, is the prioritization of that system over individual stars. While other teams might chase splashy free agents, the Patriots, hypothetically, have often preferred to develop their own talent or integrate players who fit a specific role within their intricate defensive framework. This applies directly to the defensive line. They seek players who are coachable, disciplined, and willing to sacrifice individual statistics for collective success. It's a philosophy that tends to yield results, assuming, of course, that the system itself is performing as intended. Which, more often than not, it seems to do, in a general sense. Among the more refined tactical maneuvers employed by a defensive line is that stunt. This isn't about performing theatrical leaps, though sometimes it looks rather acrobatic. It involves a coordinated exchange of assignments between 2 or more defensive linemen, designed to confuse offensive blockers and open up a clear path to the quarterback or running back. It's a dance, a ballet of brute force, requiring impeccable timing and communication. When executed perfectly, it can be devastatingly effective. When it goes wrong, it merely creates a rather awkward pile of very large, confused men. The margin for error is, shall we say, minimal. On the cacophonous field of an NFL game, communication among defensive linemen is largely nonverbal. A glance, a subtle shift in body language, an unsaid understanding born of countless hours in practice. They need to anticipate each other's movements, adjust to offensive shifts, and react as a unified front, all while being pummeled by professional athletes. It's a silent, instinctual language, honed through repetition and shared suffering. For outside observers, it's difficult to perceive, much like trying to understand an inside joke told exclusively through interpretive dance and heavy breathing. But it is, assuredly, happening. The grueling nature of defensive line play necessitates robust depth and a smart rotation strategy. No single player, no matter how hypothetically dominant, can maintain peak effectiveness for every single snap of an entire season. The Patriots, in their enduring wisdom, have often prioritized having a stable of capable linemen who can rotate in and out, keeping everyone fresh and maintaining consistent pressure. It's about managing the physical load, preventing injuries, and ensuring that the offensive line is constantly facing fresh legs. A marathon, not a sprint, punctuated by numerous very violent short sprints. The next man-up mentality is practically ingrained in the very fabric of the New England Patriots, and nowhere is it more evident than along the defensive line. Injuries, as we know, are an unfortunate inevitability in a sport predicated on controlled violence. When a player, even a theoretically vital one, goes down, the expectation is that the next individual on the depth chart steps in seamlessly, without any discernible drop-off in performance or adherence to the system. It's a testament to thorough coaching, player development, and perhaps a touch of magical thinking. But it's undeniably effective, in a generalized, hypothetical sense. The New England Patriots, through many seasons and countless roster configurations, have cultivated a well-deserved reputation for defensive toughness. This isn't just about physical might, but a mental fortitude, a resilience that permeates the entire unit, including, and perhaps especially, the defensive line. They embody a gritty, disciplined approach, rarely flashy, always fundamentally sound. It's a legacy built on consistent effort, intelligent play, and an unwavering commitment to the team's overarching defensive vision. A legacy, in short, that one observes in the absence of specific data but feels in one's very bones. Or, at least, in the bones of the opposing offensive line. How does one truly measure the impact of a defensive line? It's not always reflected in individual sack totals or tackles for loss. Often, their greatest contributions are the plays that don't happen, the blocked running lanes that force a throw, the hurried pass that leads to an incompletion, the double team that frees a linebacker for a crucial stop. These are the immeasurable contributions, the subtle shifts in momentum that swing games. It's a bit like trying to quantify the exact amount of peace and quiet provided by a really good library. Important, undoubtedly, but notoriously difficult to put on a stat sheet. So, we conclude our rather abstract journey into the defensive line of the New England Patriots. While specifics remained elusive, we've explored the conceptual framework, the generalized philosophy, and the enduring idea of what makes this unit so crucial. They are the engine room, the quiet enforcers, the very large gentlemen who make life difficult for everyone else, all while operating under the radar. Their legacy is etched not just in record books, but in the collective memory of offensive linemen who, conceptually, still feel their presence. A truly fascinating, if somewhat ethereal, component of one of football's most enduring dynasties. We thank them for their hypothetical service.